of the church parish in our weekly Zoom conversation. We talk a little bit about the Sunday gospel and a little bit about ourselves and a little bit about our parish each week. But this week we were reflecting on the gospel and thinking of this leper who came and knelt down before Jesus, who buried his face in the ground, who worshiped. And it brought to mind, for many of those on the call, the great power and beauty of Eucharistic adoration and what it's meant in their lives to be able to spend time, maybe even a weekly hour, in adoration of the Blessed Sacrament. And what that does for our faith, for our belief in Jesus present in the Blessed Sacrament, but even more importantly for our faith, for our honest relationship with God who saves us. And I was thinking, at our new parish, we have adoration for an hour on Saturday mornings outside, right on our altar under the trees. And we don't have a space at the moment where we can have perpetual adoration. But how beautiful from the beginning that that's a desire of our parishioners to make that happen. And soon we'll have a chapel, and maybe it'll be an old portable school building outside, but inside it'll be a chapel. And we'll know that because we will be gathering and we will be praying together and we'll be covering the hours and we'll be adoring the Lord. How beautiful. I was thinking that we set this healing and this faith and this worship on the backdrop of Mark's gospel, kind of on the backdrop of the coronavirus struggles. And I've heard a lot of people kind of wondering what's going to happen with the church, with Sunday Mass attendance, with people's connection with church coming out of coronavirus. Are they going to come back? Will we have full churches? Will there be music? Will there be... And one theory I've heard, which I picked up in a homily this weekend, would express kind of something that's been hanging around for the last 10 or 12 years. I've been hearing here and there that this might be a moment of renewal in the church, a moment of purification, and that the church needs to be holier, maybe smaller, but holier. And it would be okay if some of these not so good people left so that we could be a finer, stronger, holier church, like a tighter little fighting machine. And as this reflection unfolded, it came to the realization that Mark's gospel, at least, and Jesus' ministry as we read it, is much messier than that. Right? That the crowds came upon him, that there was among those who Jesus fed the thousands on the side of the hill, very little sense of strict adherence to anything. They were hungry and bored and following Jesus and excited and interested and aware that something new and good was happening. And for most of them, it probably didn't even stick. And yet Jesus was there. And for the crowds, the multitudes that gathered around his door, and for the four that busted through the roof and let down their friend, and for this leper who, against the law of Moses, came to Jesus and knelt before him and asked for healing and received it from the Lord, who became unclean in the process. Like, this isn't the story of a church that needs to be smaller and tighter and more faithful. Like, it's a rabble of people that for whatever reason find themselves in need of God's mercy and love, and because of that need, enter into a meaningful and honest relationship with God. But at the same time, I was thinking we could actually use a moment of renewal. And this might be part of that time of renewal. A renewal that makes us ask, what's in my heart? what do I need? As the Gospels unfold, and especially as Mark's Gospel unfolds, there's the sense of the insiders who become outsiders and the outsiders who become insiders. Like the insiders in Jewish faith, the faithful ones, the observant, they were Pharisees. A lay group of people that said enough of this lax interpretation of the law, we're going to do it right, and we're going to make sure that everybody does it right. And they didn't fit in the inner circle of Jesus's life. Right? You'd have expected them to, but they didn't. They didn't have room for him, and he couldn't reach them. But it's not just them, right? It's the apostles. Jesus calls these 12 who are outsiders, right? Who are a tax collector and a zealot and a fisherman. And he calls them and they follow him. But as the story unfolds, they start to think of themselves as important, as connected, as owning Jesus' mission. And they stop listening to it, and their hearts are hardened. It says a number of times that their hearts are hardened. And they find themselves farther and farther to the outside. It isn't until the crucifixion and the coming of the Holy Spirit that they truly have softened hearts and are open to the message and the mission. And that might be the reform that we're invited to. Like that when people had a sincere need for the Lord, when they understood their need for Jesus and could ask him for that relationship of faith that was a human and meaningful connection around the reality of their lives. This leper who needed Jesus to heal him, who knew that Jesus could heal him, and Jesus wanted to heal him. Like, what a powerful encounter. And it isn't about the numbers. It's about that relationship of love that's built around a human encounter. And that would be maybe our purification, whether the numbers are big or small. Although I have to say, at my new parish, everybody who comes came after coronavirus and a dispensation. And everybody who comes and stands out under the cold on a weekday morning, everybody who makes their way all the way out to 211 to the golf club, or stands out in the cold on a Saturday evening or a Sunday afternoon, like they want to be there. They want to be there. How awesome is that? And I was thinking, even in some of the parishes I used to be at, I got a chance to go back and see some of the masses. And the numbers are basically at levels close to pre-COVID, which is nice. But it's even nicer that every single person there desires to be there, wants to be there, has chosen to come. And even some of those who aren't able to come, right? Who, because they're being cautious, because they're caring for somebody else in their home, because they want to be prudent. Like even they want to be with the Lord, maybe more than ever before. And for me to test my heart against that. Do I want this? Do I have a relationship with Jesus that's based in an authentic recognition of my need for him and his desire to help me? Or is it just pomp and circumstance? Is it too big, too broad to be real? And as we maybe go through that purification, the purification of our hearts, we won't become necessarily a leaner, stronger church. But Jesus wasn't into making leaner, stronger churches. He was into making a mess. He started a revolution. He called together the unclean and the broken. He was into love. And maybe this purification could be a moment for me and my heart and my faith, a relationship of love, and for you and for us. And us could even be the church. So may that invitation resound today. May we worship. One day, our parishioners at Mary Mother of the Church in perpetual adoration, and all of us as we can, adoring and worshiping God and asking Him for what we truly need, confident that He really can give it to us and that He wants to.